Is OpenAI going to actually kill Google? This is one of the question that I guess any of us has in mind since we saw the release of Chat GPT, which was the last conversational interface which leveraged on the last update of GPT, the GPT model by OpenAI. That really was mind-blowing from many perspectives. And of course, we want to look at both the the incredible features of this conversational interface, but also a little bit of the limitations that it has. Now, of course, when we look at the Google business model, it's quite interesting because Google has actually been one of the first tech players that set the stage and really a standard for how to build a digital business model. Google was, we can say, the mother of all tech companies that we know today, as also other successful companies like Facebook, when they came on the market, they simply copied the Google advertising machine. So we can say that Google really set the standard for what would be the dominant business model of the web, which was the advertising business model. And really, the Google business model, it's sort of a hidden asymmetric business model where you actually get a free search engine that used to work and worked pretty well compared to what we had 20 years ago, and is scaled extremely well, together with an advertising engine comprising AdSense and Google, what we call today Google Ads. And this was really the engine that managed and that enabled actually Google to scale things up. Yet things are now changing pretty fast as OpenAI released the Chat GPT that is really just a conversational interface that shows up all the key features of the last released update of GPT-3. It's quite interesting because, of course, this shows us also the capability of the interface, but as well as we'll see, also some of the limitations. And you see already that when you open up Chat GPT, if you got the chance to play with it a little bit, you see that it already tells you what are the limitations of the model. This is, of course, just a conversational interface, meaning that it has the ability to actually give you the chance to interact with follow-up questions, give a feedback, and enable the model to be used in a much more interactive way. As you can see, some of the limitations that it tells you is that, of course, it might generate incorrect information. This is a key element to understand, because what happens is that ChatGPT, leveraging like the latest release of GPT-3, actually it knows extremely well on how to structure something on a logical way, which makes it sound extremely confident in most of the information that it gives. But on the other hand, it might give you wrong information, even though it gives you the impression that this information is actually right. Similarly to when you go on Google and you search for something, and on the other side, Google has indexed and ranked an information which is actually wrong. So here, ChatGPT might be telling you something that is wrong with confidence, and that's the tricky part of technology. We think that is objective when in reality it has mistakes, and we believe that as a technology cannot make mistakes. But this is one of the limitations. Another limitation is that as you can imagine, the language model has been trained on billions of parameters, and so also the ability of the model is based on the data set that has been used for the training, and therefore it might produce biased content information. And another thing is that, of course, the model has been trained on knowledge of world events until a certain period in 2021. Now, ChatGPT has incredible features. You can ask it to do anything. You can become pretty much also a programmer with the ChatGPT, because, for instance, you can tell it to generate Python code for stock tracker. Let me give just a very quick to show you what it can do, even when you give it very quick prompt. So again, I just gave it a very quick prompt, not even specifying what are the characteristics of these, and yet he tries to understand what's the what is that I'm trying to have as final outcome, and yet it comes back with something quite interesting, which is again Python code that is going to create a sort of a stock tracker. Of course, if you're a programmer, you can check whether the code is right or wrong. In some cases, I guess you might get it wrong, and so you have to fix the bugs. And the interesting thing is you can use ChatGPT itself to actually fix the bugs, because you can, just input the bug within, and it's going to tell you where the mistake might be. And so it's going to help you even in identifying the bug, even if it might be wrong initially. And so again, there are many possibilities where ChatGPT is it's really a revolution in a sense, because it's at the same time a productivity tool for business people, whether you're writing for whoever, or you're like trying to code, or you're trying to do like research. Anything can be done with this tool. And at the same time, if they understand how to scale this up, it can become an incredible consumer tool, because it can become a tool that can become, for instance, an alternative to Google. Of course, there is a problem of scalability. There is a problem of ethics, understanding how the model can be scaled without it generating misinformation. There are many issues for now that needs to be figured. However, the prospect is also quite interesting. Now, if we look at the potential business models of ChatGPT, first thing that I want to emphasize, Microsoft is a key partner of OpenAI. And so first, a business model that comes to mind, of course, is that Microsoft is going to be able to draw as many developers as possible on top of Azure, which is the cloud platform, to enable those developers to actually build on top of GPT-3 and OpenAI infrastructure. That's the most logical one. Of course, this is a B2B sort of business model. Now, if we move forward and we see the development instead of a potential business model for OpenAI, where it might go, I think the most interesting side is we're going to see these OpenAI coming up as a next business platform. We're all been theorizing in the last years that blockchain and then AR and then VR will be the next business platform. But in reality, as it's always interesting in business, it is always unpredictable to understand which one is going to be the one that is going to be rising first, and if it's going to happen at all. But interesting part is, to me, is that actually right now we have a plethora of apps which have been built on top of GPT. For instance, if we go on this site here, which is called GPT-3 demo, it's quite interesting, because right now you can figure out that there are over 400 apps developed on top of it. When it says apps, it means that there are over 400 web applications, browser extensions, or also mobile apps that have been developed on top of GPT-3 in a very short time frame. And of course, this only tracks a part of them. There are many others out there. There are many applications around that are quite interesting. For instance, you can, with this type of Chrome extension, you're able to add ChatGPT right on your browser, just like I did here, where I can pretty much have a ChatGPT here, and I can ask anything here, and it's quite interesting, works pretty well. There are many other applications that are sprouting up right now. It's interesting. There is a robo-lawyer powered by AI, which is called Do Not Pay, which is able to go on the chat of companies out there. For instance, if you have a subscription, let's say with the energy provider, and the bot is going to go there, is going to chat with the support, and is going to ask for a change plan or whatever, so that is going to make you save money. And this is quite interesting, because you can use it for complaints, you can use it to change subscriptions. it is disruptive, meaning that for companies out there, these can really have the potential to become an agent that goes out there and it starts to negotiating with companies and starts to lower prices. So it's going to become much easier to negotiate for consumers. Another interesting one, which is it's this Ask Me Anything, a search engine. This is of course more like dummy version, but search engine that can be powered directly with Chat GPT. Chat GPT, and again, quite interesting. It pulls up the answer and then it gives you back a link to any page. And again, when we look at the OpenAI, I think the most interesting part is this is going to be the platform of the future, meaning that we're going to see on top of it a lot of applications sprouting up. And on the one side is going to be a B2B platform, enterprise platform, and then on the other side is going to be enabling an ecosystem for many users across the world. Now you might ask, okay, but what's the physical platform for this one? And who knows, maybe the something like smart glasses might be something. If I were Microsoft right now, I would be pushing right now a device, a consumer device like AR device that is powered by a multimodal GPT 4, for instance. Imagine that we get a GPT model where everything can be generated by the model, from images, text, audio, and it can take whatever input, as ambiguous as it is, and can translate it into images, text, video, whatever. Imagine this sort of interface as a perfect interface for a smart glass. And if I were Microsoft, which is one of the main partner of OpenAI, I would release that as the hardware, which really is companion for the software side, which is going to be the bunch of applications that will be developed on top of OpenAI. So you release OpenAI as a marketplace, while on the other side you got an operating system which can be developed by Microsoft, for instance, for that. That is an example, and I think it's the most compelling one. Because of course, we know that Apple has created like a multi-trillion-dollar company thanks to the business ecosystem, which is the App Store. Right now, is still reaping off the benefits of those after 15 years since the launch of the first iPhone. So it's quite interesting to go to see where we're going next with that. And there are many other applications, like there are other companies built on top of OpenAI, like Jasper, like Copy AI. There are like other applications that are quite interesting, like Interior AI, that is really a platform where you upload images that is going to give you a rough layout of how you might want your house. So really, it's going to be a sort of automating part of the work that is done by designer or architects. And again, here the thing is, you might get scared, and I understand. I had the same feeling when I saw ChatGPT on the potential that he had in writing anything. But on the other side, you also understand the potential of amplifying yourself and your business to actually, do more and more of the workflow, and do more, better, and actually be able to also build products in a way that you can reach more and more people. So it's quite interesting. Other applications like Avatar AI were started as a niche product where you can upload an image, and it's going to generate like variations of that image as sort of cartoonized style, and instead now is evolving into like real live picture variations, also for professionals. Imagine that you need a variation from a picture of yourself which is not well done. You can generate variations of you in many poses, also professional poses. So it's expanding very, very quickly. And it's quite interesting because you see that if you go also on the App Store right now, one of the most popular app is called Lens AI, which is just like Avatar AI. It's an app that generates avatars of yourself through a very simple and straightforward photo and video editor. When you see such rise of those interfaces, this is incredible, because it tells you that there's right now an explosion that is bottom-up explosion, meaning there are many people that are actually experimenting with AI by using a lot of commercial applications. That's the most interesting aspect. So let's look at what's going on next. I hope that I'm going to give you more and more of those updates.